representing Fight Firm. He hails from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Please welcome Seamus 100 Rounds Lonergan.
Lonergan, am I saying that correctly?
Lonergan, yes.
Lonergan, all right, very good. And your nickname is 100 Rounds.
Yes, sir.
Why?
Why? I can go 100 rounds. I've have cardio for days and days. That's always been one of my strongest assets ever since I started training.
Very good. You just fought for us in Pottstown a few weeks ago. You got the fight coming up on March 22nd. And why the quick turnaround? I mean, was that your goal? I mean, I know you plan to fight a lot this year, right?
Definitely want to fight a lot this year. I've been in situations where, for various reasons, can't get fights. I only end up fighting once or twice a year. So definitely trying to bring the number of fights up per year. Also, it's in Philadelphia, so I am not often presented that opportunity to fight in my hometown. So definitely got to take that with both hands when that's presented to you.
Excellent. Yeah, very good. And we were excited about coming to Philly, and it looks like we're going to have a lot of opportunities for you in Philly this year. Watching your last fight, I watched it this morning so that I'd be fresh for this interview. You were pretty dominant, 3 rounds to nothing by the looks of things from my point of view. Is that how you felt about the fight?
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely happy to get the win, but honestly, I felt like there was still room for improvement. This coming camp, we've been working on our power punches and just small technical changes, just turning your foot over a little bit more, because everything I hit him with it good. And he was hurt by many of those shots. If I was able to just turn my foot over, turn my shoulder over a little bit more, I think I could have got him out of there. But, definitely happy with the result. Going up 3-0 is always a good thing.
Yeah, I know we talked in our last interview about the fight before that, and you felt like 2 rounds you kind of dominated, and in 1 round maybe you gave away. This round I thought you dominated all 3. And then the announcer, we had a special guest commentator for that fight, Travis Thompson from the BKFC. And in the last 10 seconds of the fight, he made this comment. He says, you talking about your opponent first? He said, he looks like he's getting a little tired. He says, but Seamus, man, he looks like he has cardio for days. and you kind of said that just a few minutes ago. But people are recognizing that you have amazing cardio and endurance, right?
Yeah, and I'm very happy to hear that. And, when you have an attribute like that, you have to let everybody know that you're not tired. So, that's why I stand up in between rounds. That's why I want to play to the crowd. That's why I am going to, showboat you a little bit. I want to kind of weigh on you mentally. So then when I weigh on you physically with the output and the pace that I dictate, it's all downhill from here. It's all those things add up over the course of the fight.
And that's another thing I noticed when you came to the ring. I mean, you got the hands up, you're getting the crowd involved. You had a pretty strong contingent there for you in Pottsville as well, right? Pottstown?
Pottstown, yeah. I had a lot of good friends come out from Philly, and we're buddies with a lot of people from Pottstown. All the Black Sheep guys we're good friends with. All the King Street kickboxing guys we're good friends with. So, it was interesting because I knew that Tim had brought a certain kind of contingent of people with him, and that, they're trying to do the same thing. They're going to, let's go, Tim, blah, blah, blah. And I can't hear anything during the fight because I'm just locked in. But people were telling me that they were actually kind of switching around, and they started cheering for me towards the end of the fight. So I'm glad people are recognizing stuff like that.
Well, something else Josh Carr, the commentator, made is that, you look at some of these fights and sometimes you say, hey, man, one guy just shouldn't come back ever. We probably shouldn't see him. But both of you fought really well. I mean, just because you won all 3 rounds, and he was a really good fighter, and, it was a really good fight. So I think people really got into cheering for, man, that was one hell of a matchup. And we had a lot of good ones on that card that night.
Yeah, honestly, that last card was like super stacked. And yeah, I won all 3 rounds, but they were all competitive 3 rounds, you know. And that's another thing that we want to work on going into this camp. We need to spend more time straight up dominating, not reacting to everything they're doing so badly, and really kind of put yourself ahead. But
One thing,
yeah, it was a great matchup. Tim's a great fighter. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
one thing that I noticed watching your fight this morning in round two, I noticed it a lot. The Your guard and your defense isn't one set pattern through the whole fight. I mean, you were like this some of the fight, hands up. You're working the Philly shell, demonstrating head movement. You're constantly working your range, I thought, and just exploiting that because you had a pretty good range advantage. Is that something you work on to vary up the defensive looks, or is that something that presented itself for this fight?
Definitely. We train a bunch of different guards. You try high guard, low guard, the Philly shell. Also, long guard is another one of my favorites. But I guess my go-to would maybe be the Philly shell. But when you have all of those different tools in your bag, it makes it much easier to make adjustments over the course of the fight. So, I come out of there and I'm just kind of controlling range, getting my head movement going. And then later on in the fight, once Tim is kind of making a more exerted effort to get on the inside, make this fight a little bit uglier, negate some of my length advantages, that's when I knew I had to switch to high guard, and I have to go and meet him there. And I have to catch and shoot him, block, fire back, and then I can reoppose my size, and then get back to my front kick, get back to, all my lengthy spots. So, and that's just the advantage. We're a very defensively minded camp. So that's, I don't want to get punched in the head. Me personally, I'm kind of a whack job like that, but we have many, many layers to our defensive system.
Good, very good, and I found that very interesting. Hey, going in during our last interview, we dicked around and we talked about the kangaroo fight a lot, and it was entertaining and it filled some time.
Contract. I'm waiting on that contract.
But after being there live for that last fight, and then afterwards, you were like pumped up, like I want the belt, I want everything, And I think, in my I can't pay attention to every fight, every card, but that last fight card, I really paid attention to yours, and I thought you really made a statement and learned a lot of respect from a lot of people. So I don't know if you want to respond to that. I just want to say that and comment on that.
Well, listen, if you thought that was a statement, when you stick around for March 22nd, I'm trying to get this guy out of here. I am going to put myself in a position where I cannot be ignored anymore. I'm on my way to the top, and I'm letting everybody know in my hometown.
And that's the perfect response there. How tall are you?
I'm 5'11".
5'11", yeah. Because I don't know, we had a little mix up there whether you're 6'1" or 5'11". I heard a couple different things, but
yeah, I wish I was 6'1". Hey, if you want to have fun, maybe. But
well, hey, I am really looking forward to your statement on March 22nd. I think it's going to be really cool being at the casino, and we're riding a big high off that wave coming from Pottstown. I'm going to give you the last word here, and we'll get this interview out. And again, I just look forward to watching the next step in your progression and your next statement.
All right, thank you, man. I always appreciate the opportunity. Listen, I'm going to put myself in a position where I cannot be ignored. Okay, I am one of the best kickboxers out there, period. And I'm going to let you guys all know in my hometown, Philadelphia, March 22nd. Let's get it in.
All right, I will see you March 22nd. There you go. 100 rounds.